Good God afternoon, people of God. You have tuned into the solutions. I am your host, Minister Correy Wright. As always, we know what the problems are. We know we need to solve them. What I offer on this platform is solutions. Dedicated acts of action that bring about true change, not just talk about change. And no excuses. Excuses are man's tools of incompetence that build bridges to nowhere and monuments of nothing. Broadcasting live at the Christ Family Apostolic Network here in Chicago, Illinois. This broadcast goes out around the countries, many countries, 90 countries around the world. Millions of people are viewing it. I thank God for the opportunity. Apostle Fisher, the visitor, the visionary. I am here with two of my special guests. It's supposed to have been four, but the ladies couldn't make it. But we got two of the finest. Now you already know the guest in the middle, Miss Candy from Chatty Catties. She was here with her husband Gerard, and they just bought down the house. But we have another guest, another lady from Chatty Catties, amazing woman of God. And if you didn't read her testimony, oh man, she does not look like what she's been through. She is a champion. She is an amazing person. What's her name again?
Kendra Michelle.
That was a joke. she fell right for it.
Right on cue.
She didn't catch the joke.
But she ready though. She's ready,
Right.
so.
Obviously, I know all this about her. I know her name is Kendra. And fellas, she's single.
Oh my goodness.
She did her hair to make sure that she gonna find a man out there. So inbox Kendra, because she looking for a man. She said, I can't get on the TV. My hair don't look good.
Oh my goodness.
Start shaking it, everything. Even rolling over there like, oh my goodness. So people of God, let me let you, I present, I can't, look, she got me all discombobulated. I can't even talk. But I introduce to some and present to others the ladies of Chatty Catty. Y'all give it up for them, ladies.
Hey y'all.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Chatty Catties.
Hi.
Go ahead, Miss Candy. You can introduce yourself
Thank
to
you.
people.
My name is Candy. I am the creator and producer of Chatty Catties. I want to give a special shout out to Donta G and Courtney Wade. They couldn't be here with us today, but we miss them. We'll see them next time. Another special shout out are two of my scholars. So the first one goes to India Kimball. She is also graduating this year from 8th grade.
Yeah.
Yes. Then I also have another shout out to Arteriana Dixon. Who else? Kaylana Keaton. Devontae Torrey, who was also in 8th grade, graduating this year. A shout out to Tiberius Wallace, Jamar Gentry, and King Messiah Williams. These are all of my students. Very smart, bright kids. Keep me laughing. So, hey, you guys.
And there's somebody else that please don't let us forget this other person. I ain't gonna say no name. Let me put my finger up.
Yes, of course, to my honey bunny, Geronimo Speaks.
See, Geronimo, I had to put my hand up for her
No.
to get it. She's like, these are my scholars. Okay, what about your husband?
My husband knows. He already knows. He's like my rock, my provider. He's my everything. So
All right, now.
That's my
Geronimo.
love.
Now,
hey, baby.
now, Miss Kendra, introduce yourself. Tell us about you.
My name is Kendra Michelle, or Kendra Michelle Boyd, but preferably Kendra Michelle. I want to give a couple of shouts out. First of all, to my baby, happy belated birthday, because my birthday was yesterday.
Hey.
So, Tamani, happy belated birthday. And to my brother, Steven, whose birthday was Friday, happy belated birthday. And then, of course, my mom and dad for supporting Chatty Catties and what we're trying to do and keep me motivated with all I have going on. And then in grocery stores, they support. And last but quality cuts, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
He is the reason that I am here on Chatty Catty. He helped put me in touch with the right people, and here we are. So just wanted to give them a shout out. And to everybody else who supports and believes in us,
Yes.
continue to watch.
Thank you so
definitely
much.
making noise out here. So
Yes, they are. And this is the solution. She said here on Chatty Catty. Oh my goodness.
Okay. I'm just taking over.
No, it's okay. I am big fans of Chatty Catty. One of my questions I want to ask is that you have 4 different ladies with 4 different personalities. How do you gel so well?
Oh, wow. Should I answer, or did you want to try to?
I guess you can answer.
Okay. So the 3 ladies that I had picked them for specific reasons. If I wanted a show to be strictly based off of just my personality, I could have either just did the show just completely me and that's it, or I could have found 3 ladies that had the same or similar personality as me. I did not want that. I wanted all of our personalities to be different. We have, women on the show who has a lot of energy. We have one who's like really down to earth, one who's fashionable, and then of course me, I'm kind of like the mediator. So
Who's the fashionable?
That'd be me.
she's the fashionable one.
That's me.
Fashionista.
So I just wanted different personalities on the show, different to spice it up a little bit. So that was my reason.
Now, I know a lot of people looking at it. Is there any cat fights?
There has not been no
fights.
cat fights. Not saying that anything is that we're perfect, because we're not. There has not been no cat fights. We all sometimes don't agree, of course, which is at the same time
good.
Right, which is to be expected because we are 4 women who have different views on some things. Some things we do see things the same, but cat fights, no.
Now, being that your show is so popular and so many people watch it, what topics are you afraid to go into, or what is there any boundaries to the topics that you will talk about?
I don't know. I think we try to stray away from politics and even religion, because I think those are 2 topics that can get very controversial, and you don't want to ruffle any feathers being a new show. Of course, looking at politics, I'm sure we all could talk about what's going on with our government, but I think it's just one of those topics you just want to kind of stray away from right now. And then religion. Everybody's not, doesn't believe in God or doesn't walk in that light. So when you start speaking about that, then I think people will, I don't want to watch that because they too righteous or things like that. So I think if we just, for now, we're trying to stay away from those topics until we get a bigger fan base. And then I think we can gradually, go in that area. But each one of us, we don't have a problem sharing our walk with God or what we've been through. So we do welcome it. It's just not one of our topics that we try to choose to talk about, unless it's about a specific person or a specific church or a specific pastor or something like that. That's different. So.
All right. Let me ask you a question. Have one of you guys' walk in life or testimony has ever been or could be a topic that you all talk about and not feel that the other ladies are judgmental? Like, say for some of the things you've been through, could that be a topic that you guys can talk about in each other's own right, talk about each other or talk about what they've been through? Have you ever thought about that?
I have thought about it. The different things that we discuss we try to discuss pretty much everything, but like she was just saying, we try to keep not too focused on the politics and the religion. Not saying that we won't discuss it, but we try to be sensitive to those 2 things. As far as our personal lives, as far as I'm concerned, for me, it has run across my mind. Like when you're on TV or if you're doing a radio show live, some people try to be careful of what they say, and some people are really private. But it has ran across my. We haven't done anything like that yet, but it is, it's an idea. I don't know about what do you think.
I'm pretty open for it. I don't care about sharing my life, but again, it depends on each person because everybody may not want to reveal everything that they've been through. I think people tend to judge you. So once you put it out there, you have to deal with the scrutiny sometimes that comes with it versus when we're talking like one-on-one or we're all together. I think we all have had different experiences which kind of tie us together. But I think we all had different walks of life, which is why I think you picked the 3 of us, including yourself, because we all have done different things, been through different ups and downs. But at the same time, I think we all share the same values and moral beliefs. So I think that's why we gel well together.
Now, do your show gear towards women more, or do you want to reach a general audience of men and women?
I would like to reach a general audience towards men and women, even though the show is for women. I don't want to give the perception of, oh, this is just a women's show. We're just sitting around talking about all, female or women things. Men can definitely watch the show as well. But my goal is that it's geared towards men and women. Anybody can, watch the show. So it's not just geared towards women. And like I said, even though we are all women on the panel, men can watch the show as well. Because like I said, we talk about everything. So everything we talk about.
Well, who's the creative director? Who comes up with the topics Is the topics agreed upon by everyone, or is it just somebody that does the topics, the research, and the presentation?
So the topics is agreed upon everybody. If there is a topic that, like, say for instance, if Kendra's like, oh, we should really discuss this or that or the other, I'm definitely open to it. But we all just generally, I would say, agree.
Yeah,
on
we
all
kind of
the topics.
collaborate.
Yeah, on what we're gonna discuss.
And then we all research it.
Yeah,
So that way we all
definitely
come
research.
prepared.
Yeah.
So everybody can talk about the topics.
Okay. Now, tell us a bit about your testimony. How did you guys meet? And tell us about some of the things that God brought you guys through.
Okay. You want to go first? Or?
Well, I mean, I think you can go first because you and Donta and Courtney, they already had a relationship. I was like the last piece to put into the puzzle. So
I met Donta and Courtney, the other two young ladies who co-host with me, through my husband, Geronimo. They are actually a part of his organization, Solid Souls and Solid Minds. Kendra hers is a different one because I met her through also my husband Geronimo's stepfather. My husband's stepfather knew Kendra. And at that point, it was just me, Courtney, and Donta. And I was like, oh, I really need another girl. I don't know who I'm going to get. Who can I get that has that extra spunk or that extra spice? And I had no idea. I'm just trying to figure out who am I going to get because I really wanted to be 4 women. So my husband said, I think I know somebody. And I'm like, who? He was like, well, my stepfather knows someone that said would probably, be a good fit for the show. So I said, okay. Now, me, I'm like, okay, so let me talk to her, get a vibe, see how things go. We spoke on the phone, and I got a really good, positive vibe from her. And then we ended up meeting in person, having our first meeting. And she fit in with it. I like, her personality. She has, that fashion sense that I like. So, and she's really sweet too. So she fit in with it. So she really fit in with Chatty Catties. She was like the icing on the cake.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, so
Miss Kendra, tell us a little bit about your testimony.
It is weird because, again, her husband's stepfather, he actually is a barber, and he cuts my daughter's hair. So whenever I would go up to the shop, predominantly guys, we just be talking about just different topics. And one day he mentioned to me, he's like, I know somebody who's starting a show in Chicago, a talk show. I think you'd be a good fit. And I was like, oh, okay, well, let me know about it. So he kind of gave me a little details, but he had to still get more information. So when he doubled back on me, he was like, hey, you still interested in the talk show I mentioned to you about it? I was like, well, yeah, like put it together, put me in touch with them. Let's see. So he took my information. I guess he forwarded to Geronimo and Candy. Candy got in touch with me. I remember I was like at work, like, who? And I talked to her. I was like, oh, yeah. I was like all excited. And we talked on the phone. So she's like, they had pretty much everything kind of already put together. She needed me to prepare a bio for her. So I put together a bio, maybe like 30 minutes or so, and emailed it to her. She ended up calling me a few hours later. We talked on the phone, probably like 45 minutes, just kind of go back and forth. And then she's like, well, why don't I set up a time for you to meet with the other 2 girls? So we did. We agreed to meet at a Starbucks. And we came in and they were talking and we all just kind of sat down. And the reason I felt it was a good mesh is that when we were all sitting there, everybody in Starbucks stopped and was just listening to us.
That's the
as if we was
part.
in a show.
Like, they were kind of tuning in,
like,
listening to what we were talking about, and that was pretty cool though. It was.
Yeah,
they didn't know who we were, but they were kind of like
watching.
Yeah,
yeah. Like, who are these awesome
like what they
ladies?
doing? What they trying to do?
And it was weird because people like come in and buy their coffee and then they would like go to the door, then they'd stop and they just stand there. And next thing you know, we had maybe like 20, 30 people just watching us. So I think afterwards, we all agreed to meet up and touch bases. And then Candy called me like later on that week and it's like, I got the fit. You're in if you're still interested. And I was like, yes. So
now, your testimony was so open. You've been through some things. When people say, when they may look at you and beautiful, do you want to share some of those things with the people?
I mean, I look at like my life, like I don't really hide. I mean, if I've been through something, I don't mind sharing it because that's life. Some of it is bad choices, being hard at it. My parents are still together. I have all brothers. So I grew up, knowing right from wrong. My mom was, she would always tell me things like, Kendra, if you do this, this is what happens. But of course, being hard headed, we don't always listen. My first boyfriend, which was my daughter's father, fell in love, thought, this is the love of my life. And he ended up getting taken away. He's still locked up. My she just made 16 yesterday. So he's been gone 16 years, pretty much all of her life. But at the same time, it made me a stronger person. I've always been like a go-getter, so I didn't want her to feel like, she was missing out because her dad wasn't there. So I just always worked hard. I've always been book smart. At the same time, I teach her those, like, be careful who you date because it can change your life, because it definitely changed mine. But at the same time, it made me a better person because, I don't know what would happen if I didn't want another route. I chose that route. And my mom always say God does things for a reason. She felt like you would have never left him. So God took him away. And then I was able to go on with my life. I'm finishing up a master's. I'm working on my own business line. Thank you. It hasn't been easy, but I would say, having parents, my dad, I think he drilled me the most. He never let me live down like mistakes. And I think that's why I am the way I am. I think I'm an alpha female. Like, everybody can't deal with me. So, but I also work hard. So for it.
Now, let me ask you a question. What would you say to those that's listening who might feel that their situation is tough, where they can't go on? What would you say to inspire them?
For just people, or specific, like girls, or
specific people, because men struggle too.
I would say for the young ladies, everything is gold, ain't shiny. So always have your own dreams. Be willing to work for what you want. As long as you keep trying, even if you get knocked down, get up and try again, because I think that is how I got to where I am. I got knocked down, but I got back up and I kept trying. And I think that's where over time you'll look back and be like, oh, wow, I remember I was here and now look at me. You have to keep going. Life comes with setbacks.
Now, tell everybody about your product. So, give me your plug so you get some business out. This is what we're about, because people watching.
Well, I consider myself a fashionista. I've always been into fashion. I grew up a little chunky, dark-skinned little girl who I didn't think I was pretty, because when I was growing up, you didn't see a lot of dark-skinned women being promoted the way you do now. Everything was light-skinned, real skinny. And I remember, like, maybe I was in third grade, I asked my mom, like, Mom, do you think I'm pretty? She's like, one day you're going to grow up and love the body and the person you are. You're going to love your skin. But I didn't see that. So over time with All Brothers, I learned playing in my room, a few hairstyles messed up, how to, like, put it together. I wanted to, I decided I wanted to, like, lose weight. So I started, watching what I ate. I told my brother, I remember I was 16, like, I'm tired of being a tomboy. I want to be more girly. It's like, start dressing more like girls. So I eventually outgrew the shyness, started, getting my hair done or trying to do it myself because I had no money. But eventually I got comfortable with my skin. I love being dark skinned. I would not trade it for the world because I am who I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm not somebody else. I don't want to be anybody else. I don't want anybody else's face, nose, lips. I love Kendra. And that worked. So if you look in that mirror and if you like what you see, that's all that matters.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Look at my like you go. Okay. Let's let everybody know how they can watch Chatty Catties. Give everybody information, how they can follow you and everything, and we'll go into some more questions.
Okay. We are actually all on social media. You can go onto our fan page by typing in Chatty Catties. That's ChattyCatties. We are also on Instagram. It's Chatty_Catties_. We are also on YouTube. Type in Chatty Catties TV show, and you'll see all the shows we've done. So we're here. We're all on social media. Yeah. If you want to send us an email, go to chattycatties5@gmail.com. So you can definitely reach out to us.
Check us out.
Well, let me try Chatty Catties today. Let me throw some topics up. Let's see what these ladies can do. The first topic I want to talk about is somebody equally yoked. What does that mean to strong women? A man that's equally yoked, or you being equally yoked to a man? Let's get interesting topic. Look at
That's a good one there.
You see Kendrick's face like this, that looks like this,
Been there, done that.
And I'm gonna tell you why I asked that question, because now you have two different perspectives on the same show. One married that found the man, and one single that's looking for the man.
Yeah, was married and unmarried all in the same year.
Married and unmarried in the same year.
Same year.
Oh my goodness, that's a good one. Oh.
That's why I'm gonna let you go first.
Okay, so I think when you say equally yoked, the Bible says equally yoked. I think you have to have certain beliefs that you share with your mate, certain values. Y'all both got to want something. And when I say want something, he needs his own goals as well as you need your own goals, and then y'all need goals together. If I have a dream and he don't have a dream, there's only so much he can do with my dream because that's my dream. You have to want it for yourself. I can lead you to the water, but I cannot make you drink. The same thing with a man. A man, you can be beautiful and cook and clean, but you got to have something to bring to the table as well, or want something from it other than just him taking care of you. And I think that's the problem when people say equally yoked. People are not always equal. Oh, well, he loved me and I love him, but what do you guys have together and then what do you have separate? Because I think a lot of times people need their own identity and then your identity with the marriage or with the relationship. So if you're not equally yoked, it's not gonna work. I got married to somebody, we were not equally yoked. And after the excitement wore off, it wasn't gonna work. So it's best that we get out of it because we're gonna do two things. We're gonna cheat on each other. And that's not the way to go. I'd rather get out, you do what works for you and I do what works for me and go from there than to be in a marriage where we're not living as a married couple. And it's all based on we weren't equally yoked. If you're not equal, it's not gonna work. Somebody's gonna dominate the relationship, so we already know who that is. But so no, I think that's what makes up a good marriage or relationship when you both are equal. He has his goals, he has his money, and I remember when Geronimo came on the show, he spoke about there might be areas where he needs work at, and she's already there. She's at that place, but then there may be areas where she needs work, and he's already there. And I think when you combine them, it kind of balances out.
And you know what? That can be hard sometimes too, because let's say, like even now, like I have my goals and things that I'm doing, and my husband has his goals and things that he's doing. We have to still try to make time for each other because he can be so busy and he travels a lot. I'm busy with things that I'm doing as well, so we have to try and make time for each other because sometimes we don't make that time because we're busy. But at the end of the day, I think it's more so hard for me than him because he understands like my wife is doing this, she's doing that, and I have it to where I understand my husband he's doing this and he's doing that. But at the end of the day, it's it can be hard sometimes because when you make that time for each other. So it's sometimes we have to like literally set a day to where we're gonna literally go just be together. So it definitely takes. I feel like I definitely found my soulmate because my husband, even back when I've been with my husband since 2006, which is a long time, and we've been married for 3 years. So just watching how he is now compared to how he was back then, he has grown and he's still growing. He's doing so many wonderful things, and he's rare. I rarely find. I thank God every day for him because you would rarely find a man. Not saying that we're perfect because we're not, but he's perfect for me. Right. And he's rare. My husband, he's so humble. He's hardworking. He takes care of me. Takes care of home. He's for me. He's not going nowhere. You know what I'm saying? I'm for him, right. And I'm not going anywhere. So, and it's the same on his end. I just thank God that me and him both are two goal-oriented people. That saying, what's that saying? You lay down with a dog, you get fleas. I don't lay down with no dog. I lay down with a king, a prince, every day. You know what I'm saying? So, for women out there, I think you have to definitely know your worth and don't settle. You know what I'm saying? You don't refuse to settle. I refuse to settle. And I got, the perfect mate.
Okay. Now, why do people cheat? See, I want to test Chatty Catties. I want to see just how catty they
I'm
is.
gonna answer that one. People cheat. Okay, I'm gonna get to
Why?
it. We're gonna get one.
Let me see how good these ladies are.
Okay.
Let me I'm gonna get into them and a little bit about their history because we got 2 hours. But I want to make sure. Let me test them, the Chatty Catties. Why do people cheat?
I think people cheat for various reasons. I think some cheat for physical, some cheat for emotional. People cheat when they feel like they're not getting something. When you start to seek outside the relationship, it's because there's something you're not getting. I think people always think, oh, they're cheating because she's cheating on her guy or he's cheating on her girl. Sometimes you cheat emotionally. And people don't realize emotional cheating sometimes is worse than physical because feelings have developed. And when you're not getting, let's take a guy that works. He may work a lot, and he may not have been growing up. I think that plays a part too. Because if you grew up and you didn't have a very loving, nurturing type of mother, or a mother figure, or a grandmother, or somebody who was that way, he may not know how to do that. And you get with a female who had a dad in her life who always gave her hugs, told her I love her, and made her feel some type of way. She might want that. And he may not necessarily be giving it, not because he doesn't want to, because he doesn't know how. He wasn't taught. So she may, over time, feel like he doesn't love her, or she feels like she's not getting something because he's not very affectionate. He's giving her all that other stuff that she wants, but that one little area. Well, there's a guy she grew up with, he's been knowing her since he was a kid, and he may know that about her, and he may give that to her. So when she needs that, she might call her friend up. And he may give it to her, not, just being a friend, not really crossing the lines, but really you're still cheating because you're seeking affection, emotional, whatever it is that you're seeking from someone other than your mate. So I think a lot of times people don't understand that when you're not getting something, you have to help a person understand that I need this. Because if I'm not getting this, eventually I'm going to get it from somewhere else, especially if it's something that you feel you need. You have to have this. I think with a guy, women, sometimes they give guys 10 years, 15 years, they become complacent in a relationship. And they feel like, oh, I don't got to do that no more. He ain't going nowhere. They don't feel like they need to be dressing up or putting it together for him. And you do. He still needs to find you attractive. He still needs to be like, she still got it. And spark that little spark inside of him, because if not, 2018, it's all over. So you don't want him to be looking outside because you feel like I don't need to do that because I've already got him, or I put all these years in. Your mate still needs to feel that you're, attracted to them, that you still willing to put it together for them. It's a business. It's building. You have to continue to. My mom always told me the same thing you do to get him, the same thing you do to keep him. So if you got him dressing nice, going out doing things with him, putting on that nice pretty dress, making him feel like he had a woman with him, his queen, and then you stop, eventually that's going to take a toll on the relationship. And people don't always think that. They feel like they get too comfortable, like, oh, I ain't worried about it. Okay. There's always someone willing to do what you're not willing to do.
Mm-hmm. There's always somebody that's better, and
Right.
Cheating at the same time you're unhappy, or some people want their cake and eat it too. They're greedy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And some people out there that are greedy, and if you're with someone that that cheats, and I'm not being judgmental on nobody, that's your business, but if you're with somebody and they're cheating, then you have to talk to yourself about that one. You're like, you are, it could be because maybe low self-esteem, you feel like you don't deserve no better, you can't get no better. But definitely it has a lot to do with a person that is, unhappy or unsatisfied. And then, like I said before, some people are greedy. They want more. They want more than one slice of cake. They want the whole cake. Right.
That's deep because, I always say that cheating starts before the action ever happened. And that the most root to cheating is settling. Because if you go into a restaurant, you're not going to cheat on your plate because you got exactly what you ordered. So a lot of times people settle and they try to make people what they're not. And that's the root to cheating, because a lot of times cheating happens even before anybody left, said something, done something, because they weren't honest about what happened. Oh, that's a good response. I love it. Now, let me ask you something now. Let's get, because I was dreaming about having a show of men and women. You got the man cave, you got The View, The Talk. We got Chatty Catties, but we don't have gender mixed shows.
Mm-hmm.
And is there a gender gap or a gender gap between conversation and communication with men and women? Because let me ask you a question with this question behind that. Is it the fact that a woman can be too strong in a relationship and destroy a relationship?
Mm. Oh.
Yes.
Let me get to that one.
Yes.
Did they really think it was going to be easy?
Let me
Right.
say, are we ready, Corey? We get this.
You know about me, but Kendra didn't know. She came and she really didn't.
I'm like, wow, he really went there.
Because I want to, because you know why? Because, see, anybody can, you know, on the solutions, I deal with serious shows all the way. And one thing about it is open and transparency.
Right.
Because you know why? It's somebody in another country, in Ghana, Kenya, watching you saying, ooh, I wish I was that pretty woman right there. Ooh, I wish I was her. You know, you'd be surprised the inboxes and the people say, wow, that lady changed my life.
Right.
That person changed my life. Mm-hmm. You're an amazing, beautiful woman. You've been through a lot of things. You're strong. You're doing it. You got it. People want to see, okay, can you be too strong?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in this now. Let's go biblically. What the Bible said that a wife is to submit to her husband.
No, that's a good one.
That's a
okay.
That is a good one.
Let me take. Let me
Yeah,
go.
you go. You wife
With marriage. Okay. I'm gonna be honest. Being submissive is not my it's not my cup of tea. However, I do respect my husband. I know he is the king of our house. I have a strong personality, and I'm a nice person, but I do have a very strong personality. I'm very opinionated. I like to say what I need to say. I don't hold anything back. Now, being too strong, that can only go like so many levels. Like in terms of like, are you the dominant one in the marriage, or you know, are you too strong in terms of like, are you the one who's always barking the orders, or you know, things of that nature? So in our marriage, my husband is more open, I would say, and what I mean by that is he's more of the let things be how they be. He's really relaxed. He's chill, but he still handles business. I'm more of, okay, this got to get done. This got to get done. It needs to be done this way. This got to be this way. I'm more of the detailed, oriented person. Sometimes my personality can be stronger in the marriage than his, only because he's way more open at times than I am. I can be very private. You know, I'm not just open to anybody. I'm very selective as to who I have in my circle and in my space. He's very open to people. There's no shame or blame in it, but we can sometimes clash a little bit with that, only because he wants me to be more open and I want him to be a little bit more private because we're married. So sometimes we bump heads with it. We work it out, but we do bump heads with it sometimes. So, but I think I can be more dominant only because I'm the one that does the cooking, the cleaning, you know, things like that. But he knows he's the king of the house. I respect what he says and what he wants. So it works itself out. So.
You can't wait to
See,
jump on the
baby?
mic. Come on.
No.
Come on, kid. She did a great job around the room. Come on, kid. Kid's so tired. She's ready to jump out the mic.
I'm laughing. This is so funny. I think I grew up with our brothers. My mom used to work the 3 to 11 shift, so I was at home a lot with my dad and my brothers. And my dad treated me more like the boys. So he pushed me just as hard as them. So I think for me in a relationship, I'm an alpha female. Like, if I don't like something, I'll say it. If I'm one of those type of people, you either gonna lead or you gonna get led. You know, so if I feel like a guy, if he's not dominant, or not dominant, I want to say, but if I feel like if he's not who he proclaims himself to be, or, you know, you're gonna get dominated, because I am who I am. Like, I'm very straightforward. If I say I'm gonna go do something, I'm gonna do it. Like, word is bond. I think that's who I am. And I think sometimes when you're with a guy, they may come off as very confident and strong, and then when you get with them, you realize they're not really who they pretended to be in the beginning. So your personality will show. I don't want a guy that's like overly dominant, but I need somebody to match me.
There's a backbone.
Right. You know, when I'm, you know, doing too much, tell me, you're doing too much. And I'm like, oh, okay, you know, because if you don't call me out on it, then I'm just going to feel like this is the way it's going to go. And then it's just gonna go that way. But I definitely think you need, as a female, I think I've struggled with the whole submissive thing. I'm not submitting myself, being submissive to a guy who I don't think is worthy of being submissive to. And that's just that.
Now, do you think society or the attack on our men, especially our black men, is the reason why they're not the good men, or the men that's stepping up to be these men that can fulfill their place in women's life? Or do you feel like because there's a shortage of men, that women are forced to be stronger today than they had to do in maybe our grandma or our mother's days?
I think it's a combo. I think in today's market or dating market, too many people have it is what it is attitude. They don't really put forth a good effort. The guys, they do. She cool with it, so they don't feel like they have to do more. I think we as women sometimes don't require as much as maybe our grandmothers did, or the older generation, from the guys. So we let them slack off, and then we're forced to have to step up and cover what they should have been covering. And I think that's just how the world has the roles kind of have switched. Women are doing what men should have done. A lot of guys think they gonna just play between women and let them take care of them. Mm-hmm. That don't bother them. To me, that's like, that doesn't make you feel less of a man. No, they're okay with having this chick take care of them. He have work or have not work or whatever he's doing, and they're okay with that. They think just having a man is enough. But that's for some women. Some women are okay with that. They just want a piece of a man. It's not gonna work for me. I'm gonna wake up and be like, dude, it's not gonna work.
And that comes with the whole thing of settling.
Yeah.
You just, you don't know what your worth is.
Right.
And as a woman, you have to know your worth. You have to, because if you don't know your worth, you're gonna be with anybody just to say you with somebody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you're settling.
Well, then why is it that, and because I want to help the men out a little bit, why is it that so many good men are unrecognized by strong women? Because they have built this wall. Because remember, it is normally the good men or the good women that pay for what the bad people done. Mm-hmm. Why is it? Because, see, here's the thing. Why is it you run into that woman who has everything, done everything, been through everything, and then when that good man approaches them, they got to pay a piper that the other person did? Because in a study saying, let me receive what you have for me, God, I'm going to make sure nobody else do what the other person did. And they're so strong that they miss it. Why is that?
She could be set in her ways. She can be afraid to step out on faith. And, sometimes when a person is set in their ways and they used to how things are, they're afraid of change. Yeah. And some people are afraid of change. And even if it's, a good change, and what they're in right now, the situation they're in right now may not be good, they're comfortable with it not being good. So some women, or men are, I would say is afraid of change.
Yeah, I'll piggyback on that. I agree. I think some of the fear of being hurt again. Men, I had a situation, a friend of mine, he says, in order to be in a real relationship, really love, you got to be willing to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is not easy when you've been through something. Mm-hmm. You saying to be completely open with everything, like trusting with your heart, trusting with your feelings. And that's hard. I know for me it's hard. I could trust you with everything, but when it comes to my emotions, that's different, because when you're dealing with my emotions, you have a way of hurting me. And I think when you've been through something, that's what I'm probably protecting the most, my heart, my emotions. Like, I can deal with a lot of things, but when you hurt me emotionally, that takes time, and it's not, people, oh, you'll get over it, get over it. People are quick to say that when somebody's been hurt, get over it. Nah, it's not that simple, because you can get up and go to work, but when you walk out that door, those feelings are waiting for you. It's like, hey, here I am. And you got to deal with that until you work it out of your system. 6 months, 3 months,
Why is your dick gonna be put upside? So you want to read it? He left it upside. So, okay, Miss Kendra, there might be Mr. Wright, Prince Charming out there watching today. We want the requirements.
Uh-oh.
And I'm helping somebody out there because she's a very beautiful lady, single, got her own. Been through a lot. And she did her makeup and her hair, everything before she got on here. It was like a Maybelline commercial before we went on air.
Really.
What? So, Miss Kendra, if that man is out there listening to this show today, what do you want from a man, and what kind of man will make you happy?
The first thing I want him to do is have a relationship with God. I think that's the most, because if you have a relationship with God, He can help guide us and guide him. I think, morally, as far as a man, if they have a relationship with God, they know what's right or wrong. I think that's huge. I want him to have, of course, his own money and job, but have his own goals. When you have your own goals and I have my own goals, we can kind of blend it together. I'm into the office work and doing all of that, so I can maybe help him in certain areas, and then
Now, you
he might be
say
able
have
to.
his own money, so you couldn't date a person that make less than you?
I married a man that didn't have a lot of money. It didn't work because eventually we dipping too deep in my pockets. It's a problem. But no,
You
I
gotta
think
have a job, no unemployment. People.
no. When
Don't
I say
everybody-
money, I feel like you gotta have your own. When a person has their own, I think they carry themselves in a certain way. The same thing with me. I feel the way that I feel. I think I walk around the way that I do because I'm confident, because I can make it happen for me. I can make it happen for us if he was to, lose his job or fall short. But I think you need to have your own, because I think that comes with self. That's part of self-worth, self-value. When you feel like you get up every morning and go to work and do what you do, then I think it tells a certain about your type of character, type of ethics you have, work ethics, things like that. It's not easy to get up and go to work every day. Some people choose other routes, but to get up every day and go punch a clock, that takes effort. That takes self-discipline. So I think he definitely needs that. I don't want to get into like parenting, because I have both of my parents. They're still together. So I think just growing up, I think he needs to know how to treat a woman. There's a difference between a girl and a woman. There's certain things that I'm going to tolerate, certain things I'm not. And I don't have a problem with telling you that. So, have your own goals, have a relationship with God, have your own finances. Together we can blend. My dad always told me this: if you got $10 and he got one, together y'all got 11. But if you got $10 and he got one, if you subtract one of yours to be equal to him, you're still 9 above. So that means you're better off without him. So if we can't blend and
That's
make that,
cold. Wow, Dad, if you out there, that's cold.
but I mean, it's the way to look at it.
Cold.
11 is better than 10 and 1 when you're together. But if I got $10 and you have $1, and I say, okay, I'm gonna give away 1 to be equal to him, I'm still better off by myself because I have 9 more dollars. So if we can't blend it and make us better, then I'm better off walking this walk by myself.
What do you think, Candy? You got anything to
She hit it on point.
I always tell people it is important, you're right, to get somebody that's a man or woman of God, because the Bible said when you invest in a man or woman of God, heaven honors it. So I tell people anytime, whatever you do for me, and I got my own, everybody, whatever you do for me, you got, even my mom, and you do it for the man of God, you bless them. The Bible said heaven honors it. So, when you sow seeds in good ground, heaven definitely blesses you behind it. So that's awesome. So if you guys listen, blow up her page, send your pictures. No nude pictures of that.
Right,
Please don't.
none of them.
No nude pictures of that. That is amazing. Now, let me ask you guys about yourself. I know you don't have any kids, correct?
No.
How many you have?
Just one.
Okay, tell us about a little bit about your daughter and how she like you.
My daughter she's like me, but she's not like me. She's very smart. Honor roll since 2nd grade. High honor roll in high school. She actually won an award last year. She beat out all the kids in her grade level. She's a sophomore. She received this. I didn't know what the award was. I didn't get one. I didn't get that in high school. Sorry, but it's an award that they do for all the sophomores throughout Illinois. She won that award. She's always been really good in school. She's more academic smart. Like, she's not into, she likes sports and cheerleading and all that, but she's more academically, that's her strength. If she gets a B, she's not happy. She needs A. That's just her. She's a go-getter. She's very independent. We bump heads because she has a strong personality, but she wants to be her own. Like, she's very open. She's very loving. She's also very, we talked about it on the show, she wants to save everybody. She has friends who are going through things. And I'm like, Kamani, you can't do that, because sometimes it gets her in trouble trying to save other kids, even her teachers. They're like, she's that one. Like somebody getting bullied, she gonna say something. So I love that about her. She has a big heart. She's right now trying to figure out what she wants to do. She wants Candy to be her mentor. Yes, I'm so happy. Like, I'm like, Candy, tell her you have a bachelor's degree and all of this stuff because, I wanted her to go to college.
Dr. Candy.
Exactly.
A PhD.
So no, she's really smart. She's gonna graduate a year early, so she'll graduate from high school a whole year, because she's just done very well academically wise. I think just because I push her. I read to her when she was in my stomach. I always, gave credit to school. And I think that came from my dad, because he was always about education. Get your education. Good looks, a big butt is going to get you to the door. But you better have something else to get you through the door. So I think him teaching that to me, I've kind of stressed that to her. And it's definitely paid off. She's a burst of energy. Yes.
Now, are you done with kids?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, no, I wanted another one. I just ain't found that right one. Like, I don't want to be a baby mama. I'm looking for a husband. My dad's like, look, I'm going to need you to get it together. So
now, tell us about your mom and your dad, because I hear you often talk to them, and that's good, because, so many people, I met my dad at 25, and my dad died in 98, and I just got in contact with my dad's side of the family. So my strong mom and amazing mom. But tell us about your mom and your dad, and how you like them.
My parents are from Mississippi.
Mississippi?
They're from Mississippi. We're Mississippi. Hey. They both grew up. My dad grew up with his aunt, my grandfather's sister. My mom grew up with her grandmother and her grandfather. So neither one of them were raised with their parents. My mom said when they grew up, they both knew that when they had kids, they wanted to be in the house with their kids. So when they had my oldest brother, they just made it work. The one thing I love about my mom is she's very down to earth. She's realistic. She says, she tells me all the time, Kendra, these expectations you got, they're not realistic. If you think, 40 plus years, we haven't had ups and downs, infidelity issues, you're kidding yourself. That is a part of a marriage. You're going to have good times. You're going to have bad times. But if you stick it out, that's how you get to 15, 20, 25, 30, 40 years. They have 40 plus years. So I like talking to her. My dad, he's a little more old school and opinionated, judgmental. He feels like the black men today don't step up like they used to. He's from that era where the man worked. You take care of home, you take care of your kids. And he feels like a lot of guys don't do that. And he understands why his daughter, who is smart and go to school, he's always talking about her, can't find that right guy. And I told him, guys are not like y'all. They don't stick around like that. People don't work things out. It's like, oh, it's not working. Everybody just leaves now. So it's different. Like, I think maybe I need to go older, because the young ones is not working. And I think it just depends on them. But a lot of them don't have the same values as the old school do. Making things work. Everything is not going to be peachy and cream every day. You might have a setback. Your wife might lose her job. He lose his job. And you stick it out. And guess what? It gets better. People fall in and out of love. You just gotta keep going. It's stick around. And I think that's what they did. They showed us that thick and thin. We've been through ups and downs. We've been through, I remember our lights got cut off. We didn't have no gas. We made it work. And here it is, 40-something years later. My mom and dad is still here. Like, I don't know another man. I know my dad. And I'm the only girl, so I'm daddy's girl. So, and I think with my brother, it's the same thing. They look at my mom and what she did. My mom's very nurturing. She cooks and cleans and all those stuff. I'm not as into the domestic as she is, but she wanted me to get an education, So that's my strength. But yeah, watching them, I want that. Because you can't, you can buy stuff, but memories you can't take away. Like, I remember, when we were kids, you go back, same thing with them. They can talk about what happened 20 years ago because they're still together. So.
Candy?
Actually, my parents, they've been married almost 40 years. They celebrated their anniversary on the 20th.
Between y'all parents, got 80 years on here.
Yeah. So I remember, like she was saying, having, and my dad, he's also, his side of the family is also from Mississippi. So he's from Mississippi as well.
Crooked letter.
So I remember when it'd be times when, if the gas was off or something with the rent. At that time, me and my mother had 3 girls. At that time, me and my little sister were young, so we didn't really know too much. Right. But my dad, I'm a daddy's girl as well. And I love my mom to death, but I've always been a daddy's girl. My dad, he's always literally, before I even met my husband, he was always my number one supporter, number one fan. He believed in me and still believes in me to this day. He calls me his little superstar since I started this talk show. And my mother, my mom, she's more old school, but she's more strict and direct. Right. I think I have more of her personality because she has a very strong personality, which when I was little, I used to like, oh my gosh. But now I'm older. I have my moments still, but I respect it because I definitely have her personality. Okay. My dad is just more laid back, chill. That's my daughter, that's my baby girl. He's more that kind of guy. So as far as school wise, my mom and my dad both always wanted me and my sisters to always stay in school and follow our dreams and this, that, and the other. And me and my sisters, we all have different personalities. Like my older sister, something like Kendra, she's really into the fashion and the makeup, and she's really fashionable. My little sister, she kind of does her own thing. She's in her own little world. I am more so, I was like not the nerd, but I just always loved school. I don't know if it came from my mom or my dad. I was always the bookworm. Like her daughter I used to hate getting a B. Like that was the worst. I had always strived for an A, and I always strived to be the best and to be number one in anything that I do. And I'm still like that today. I still have that mentality. Like, there's always somebody out there better, but I'm always striving to be better than that person. I'm always striving to be the best. So I definitely have a mixture from both of my parents. They've had ups and downs, but they still together, still married.
Still holding on.
Yeah, still holding on, almost 40 years. So, and I would love to, I can't wait to see that with me and my husband. We don't have any kids right now, but I can't wait to see that with me and my husband. So.
Oh, it's definitely coming. And, it's so important when you meet somebody. The Bible said we serve God in spirit and truth. And so many times we don't feel people's spirits to know their truth. See, we're going to always get the audition tape, but see, we never say, let me pray on this person. God, show me this person. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I never want anybody to ever say they want to be my mate if God never showed them that. Because only what God put together can last. And a lot of times we choose people and not choose them in the spiritual eyesight. We say, okay, we see this person, they look like a good person, but what did God say? Mm-hmm. Because if they don't love God properly and don't have a right relationship with God, how are they going to have one with you?
Exactly.
That's true.
And it's so important. That's good. Now let's get into some more topics. This is some serious topics. Why we look at the violence in our communities. Why is it that broken relationships put the kids in the middle of it so much? Mm-hmm. Why does a kid become an article of vindictiveness by parents?
You know what? I work with kids. I work with middle school, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. And sometimes you have to remember a lot of kids have it really bad at home, and that's why they act the way that they do. Some kids come to school, they're not fully clean, they haven't ate anything. They have a lot going on. They really do. And sometimes you wonder, like, even though they're acting out in class or in school, they're acting out for a reason. Some kids don't get no attention at home. They have it bad. They do. They have it really bad. And I'm speaking because I work with kids. So, and it's some sad situations. You have, like I said, some kids that doesn't have anything. Some kids are in foster care. Some are adopted. Some are in shelters. Some have to be on medication because they have a behavior disorder. It's a lot, and it's really heavy. And I've been working with kids for almost 3 years. So you see so much. I have one kid that asked if they could come home with me. And I said, oh, why you don't want to go home? They just said, I don't want to go home. And I couldn't take them home with me. You know what I'm saying? You have some kids where their parents, and I've seen this happen. Their parents are riding these nice, expensive cars, but their kid can't read. Wow. I've saw one child's mother. She had a Benz, but her child didn't know how to read. That says a lot to me. That's heavy. And I see this a lot. And there's so many other things. I can write a long list of so many things that I see with kids. But these kids, and then and another thing they don't understand is not just tomorrow not being promised, today is not promised. You don't know what's going to go out, what's going on when you walk at that door, or wherever you are. They are being killed left and right. They're not being able to see the age of 18. Right. So it's a lot that's going on. You don't want to keep them sheltered, locked in the house. You want them to be able to be out and have fun. But
parents fighting against each other and use the kid as a weapon.
You have parents calling the kids out of their names. It's a lot that I've seen.
I think with the parenting, I think it kind of goes back to the individuals, the woman and the man. First of all, in my opinion, I see way too many women having babies by guys they barely know. You met them, you was dating them 4 months, you get pregnant, you having a baby, you barely even know them. And you're ready to make a lifelong commitment. Not that I'm saying that, an abortion is the way to go, but what happened to birth control? So that way you don't end up in a situation. And a lot of times that happens.
Too, some women are against that too.
Right.
They're against. They don't I don't want to say against, but some women just don't want to. They don't want to take birth control because of what it does.
So they're worried about, it's going to affect my body. But now you have a baby by a man you barely know. And then you get pregnant. You have a baby, you barely know him, he barely know you, y'all realize it's not gonna work. Now you feeling some type of way. You're stuck with this baby. I know for a fact, some of these moms don't love them kids like they're supposed to because of what happened with the dad. And they take it out on the child. Also, women use kids as like survival tools. You having babies just to keep a check coming because his dad got a good job. As soon as you get pregnant and y'all break up or whatever, now you ready to go get child support because you know that for the next 18 years, he's about to be paying you. So I think some of this that we see with these children is that I was talking to a friend of mine, I was saying, I wish every kid could see the relationship of their parents before they were born. Because a lot of kids walk around.
Wow.
My dad doesn't love me. Well, let me see.
That's powerful.
Your dad met your mom at a party. They went home and they smashed, and she ended up getting pregnant. And instead of her looking at, this was a one-night stand, she decides to have the baby. Well, now you're 15 and you see him, and he got a whole family, and he take care of his other son, he take care of his other daughter. Well, let's see. He was with that girl. They were together some years. They had a baby. He loved those kids because he was there with them from day one. He had an emotional attachment to the mother. They had a relationship. Your mom's like, your dad is no good. Well, your dad met your mom at the party.
And that's who you chose.
Right. And you got pregnant.
You chose
and
to see what child.
And I honestly believe that if kids saw the relationship of their parents,
that is good.
They would not have. I know a lot of kids, and they walk around with that question like, why my dad don't love me? Why my dad don't do this? With that, all these what's wrong, and it affects them. And the reason they feel that way is because the dad is absentee in their life. They see the dad, or they may know who the dad is, and like, he do this for his other kids, so why he didn't do that for me? Now they think something's wrong with them. What's wrong is that your mama ain't telling you the real story.
And you know what, too? We can always blame the men because it takes two.
Right.
Women have to be careful who they laying down with, who they're choosing to be, who they're choosing to conceive a child with. So we're always sometimes so quick to blame the guy or the dad. But the mother or the woman as well chose to lay down with this dog.
Right.
Know how he was then, and then you chose to have a baby by this person, thinking that maybe, having kids will make things better.
Yeah.
Not saying that it make things worse, but it don't make things better. However, you chose to lay with this person. Unless you were at gunpoint, you free willingly chose to get pregnant by this loser. And now you want to be upset with him, and y'all arguing in front of the kid and this, that, and the other, and kids, kids are not stupid. They smart. They very smart, Corey.
Because
seriously.
I know some women that use their kids as weapons against good men.
Right, and that's because, for one, I think that's very immature. For two, it's like a pawn. It's like you use I'm not gonna let you see your daughter because you're not doing what I need you to do. And then when the guy gets tired of being dealing with that, he walk away and give up on the kid. Like, you know what I'll do when they get older. Now they want to paint a picture like, your dad don't come and see you no more. No, because he got tired of the fight every time he tried to see you. And I honestly believe that women that do that
is
normally still want the man. I know a lot of co-parenting where the woman has somebody else. She may be married or got her own guy, and he got somebody else. They pick up the kids, drop them off. They get along very well. Normally when there's friction, somebody still wants somebody. And if that other person does not want to deal with them, they make it difficult for them to the point where a guy be like, look, it ain't worth it. And they'll let it go. And sometimes they'll hurt the child because they get tired of the headache with the mom. The same thing. I don't know, if there's some type of language to go with baby mama or baby father, whatever you want to call it. But just because you got a baby with somebody does not mean it's an open door to keep dealing with them or sleeping with them. That's not what this is. And too many people use that card, like, because they have a kid by you, they think that they could still play around. And then when the other person says no, now the kid becomes, the pawn. You can't see your son, you can't see your daughter if, he don't want to deal with you. Probably don't want to deal with you because he never really knew you in the beginning, because, again, it goes back to those relationships. How did it start? You met him, you knew he had a whole wife and girlfriend or whatever, and you still involved. You get pregnant, now you want him to play house with your baby. Y'all ain't even supposed to be dealing. Remember, he had a girlfriend. Remember, she had a guy. So I feel like people forget about how things started, and in their little mind, they think, like, this is how it should be. Well, not when you met somebody out partying, y'all got carried away. And for the record, and I'm speaking for myself, I've never had intercourse with a man, whether protected or not, and did not make that decision at that moment. You make a decision, like, do I want to do this?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it takes two.
So,
it definitely takes two.
The guy can't be like, oh, she tricked me. No, she didn't trick you. You had a decision. At that moment, you was like, whatever. And you went with it, thinking maybe nothing was going to happen, and it did. So don't act surprised.
And
we
it's
all
a
have a
decision from
decision.
both ends, from the woman's part and the man's, part. It's a decision from both ends. It's not just one-sided, because it takes two.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You made that choice.
Unless
you knew how this person was, male or female. You knew how they were. If they was no good, but you still chose to, lay with them and have a baby by this person, or chose that man to be your baby daddy or whatever. It takes two. It's not one-sided.
It's just women, we have the power to, like, if a guy doesn't want the baby, we can force him to become a father. And I think that also plays a part, because when somebody's just, he tells you in the gate, I'm in school, I'm working till my goal, I don't want no kids. You get pregnant and you force him to be a dad. Now there's some resentment underneath that, because you forced him to be something he wasn't ready for. You said, oh, well, it's not a problem, I don't want no kids right now. And as soon as you got pregnant, I'm keeping my baby. All of a sudden you're religion now. You don't believe in abortion and all that stuff. So,
Well, since we talk about that, and I have ladies, when we talk about the Bible and it says, do not spill your seed on the street, scripture, is abortion, is contraceptives, and in those things, are they considered murder? I won't test Chatty Catties. Y'all won't Chatty Catties.
We ready, Corey.
we're ready. Okay, I don't consider it murder, but I mean, this is my opinion. I don't consider it murder. I believe that you have a choice, and do I want to deal with, I'm having fun, or I'm dating somebody, and we may not be to that point where we want to get married and all of that. So if we have a situation, and I don't want to alter the rest of my life, then I have a choice to either go through with this or not. So I don't believe it's murder, but the Bible probably says it does. But again, I don't believe it is. So if I don't think this is the right thing to do, I'd rather not go that route, and then have a child that you half love, or you feel like, I hate when I see parents, you ruined my life. Nah, you made that choice to have that baby. But if you're going to use that baby or use that as a crutch, or say, you're the reason why I never made it to Hollywood or wherever, then why even go through it?
And I think, too, it depends on the situation. Like if you were raped and you got pregnant.
No, that's not. Because that was something that was forced.
Right. So that's why I'm like, I think it depends. I mean, some women may still keep the baby.
Right.
They might. But I don't think it's murder to have an abortion. I think it just, depends on the situation. And it depends on that person. I mean, if, I don't have any kids. So if I were to get pregnant, I wouldn't get no abortion. I mean, I've been with my husband.
But I'm saying, though, why not abstinence? I mean, because you think about it, because ask yourself a question, is masturbation murder?
You can practice,
because, again, why not do it? Because if you're doing it, I mean, you think about it, that's still a life.
That's true. I think you can definitely practice, abstinence, but let's
look at Kendra over there like.
No, I'm really.
Let's just keep it real.
I'm keeping it real. I'm be honest. No, I'm not gonna say abstinence. I'm gonna play abstinence because I'm not marrying somebody that I don't know what to do. Like, I'm not doing that, because what if I get married and, oh no, this is not gonna.
But you know what? I actually, let me word it the correct way.
The correct way.
They watching all
politically correct. I'm just kidding. Before I met my husband, or even before I even started dating, I told myself I didn't want to have sex until I got married. And I stuck to that for some time. But then it didn't go that route. You know, it didn't go that route.
See my
You
lip
have-
turn up like this.
Don't judge me, Corey. But you know, you have, you know, it's, you know, high school, things of that nature. You
Right.
fall under temptation, sometimes peer pressure.
You think you're in love.
You know, exactly. That whole L word
Right.
thing in high school. You know, it's a high school type of, you know, not saying that everybody does that, because like I said, I told myself I didn't want to have no sex until I got married. My parents not necessarily told me, like, they didn't like instill that in me. That was just something I wanted. I did not want to be with nobody until I got married.
It's the right thing to do.
That's the right thing to do. But like I said before, it did not go that way.
You live in a different world.
Right, exactly. I didn't wait until I got married. It was, you know, back when I was young and dumb. But at the same time, I mean, I don't regret any mistakes that I've made. I feel like it did make me a stronger and much more wiser and smarter person and woman. And, you know, God sent me my husband. And my husband is it. That's it. That's who I'm growing old with. And I had to literally, like, take my time. And I always thought, like, is there something wrong with me? I can never meet anybody who's on my same page, my same level. And it's funny because me and him, man, we were co-workers. We were friends at first. And then we just started dating, and it just kind of led from there.
Where did God start with you guys? When, you know, most people could tell you the day they got saved, or the day that they knew their life would never be the same, the day that God touched them and said, okay, come on, time to work. What day was that for you guys?
For me, it was when I was a little girl.
You know what? My mom's father was a pastor, even though he lived in St. Louis. I don't know. I always went to church. I went to church even when my parents didn't. Like, I got up every Sunday and went to church. I was in the choir. You know, I would
Can
go
you
on.
sing?
Yeah, I'm a little hoarse now because we had a memorial thing for my aunt yesterday. But I just always went to church. Like, I'm probably like the emotional one in my family. I be in my feelings. They're like, you so emotional. I'm passionate about it. Like, I love hard. So I think for me, I just went to church. You know, when I don't go to church, my dad's like, oh, you ain't going to church? So when I go to church for the whole family. Like, when I go, they feel like they're there because Kendra's there. So I don't know. I mean, since as far as back as I can remember, I just always prayed or knew about God and church. And, you know, not that I always lived, you know, you kind of stray as you get older because you find out, or they make it seem like church isn't cool. So you kind of like scale back a little bit. But I've always known about church and God. I pray every morning. I read my Bible every night before I go to sleep.
What church you go to?
Christ Temple in Evanston, Pastor Kenneth Cherry.
Okay.
So, yeah.
You, Miss Candy.
Okay.
I've been to church since I was little, and I used to get tired of it because my mom used to always make me, because I was in the choir, I was a praise dancer,
Help
Sunday
her, Lord.
school,
Right.
evening school,
Sound like my
Bible
mom.
school. Me and my sisters used to be like, oh, Mama, can we just miss one Sunday? She used to always make us go.
What's Steve Harvey say? I gotta go to church. I want to go to hell. Steve Harvey said that.
She used to always make me and my sisters go when we were little, so we stayed in church. As of right now, I don't necessarily have a church home, but there is one church that I do go to, and it's Southside Worship.
Okay.
And it's a really great church. But I've been in church since I was little. I got baptized when I was 10 years old. My mom, she's still heavy in church to this day. She's still heavy. Even when we were little up until now, she's still heavy into it. I guess now because I'm older, I have more of a choice to make if I decide to go more or this, that, and the other. But like I said, when we were younger, me and my sister didn't have that choice or the option. And I used to hate it because one time I fell asleep in church and she pinched my arm to wake me up. I'm like, oh my, it was just, I used to get tired sometimes of my mom making us go. Like, we didn't miss not one service, Corey.
Wow.
Sunday school, Bible school, evening school, vacation Bible school, school. We didn't miss anything. So me and my sisters was just like, can we miss one
church
Sunday? But, you know, God has always been in my life, the head of my life, the head of my marriage. So, yeah.
Now, let me ask you a question. Do Chatty Catty begin in the studio, or is Chatty Catty outside the studio? What I mean by is, do you guys discuss issues outside the place, or who's the person that people go to when they got a problem? Do you guys discuss y'all? I mean, is it just a network thing, or is it really a real life sisterhood thing?
I would say if there's speaking on my part in it, if there's an issue, I definitely, if it's an issue with just one lady, I would have a conversation with her and not bring it to the whole group.
No, what I mean by issue, I don't mean by like an issue in the I mean like I'm going through something and I need my sister.
It's like a sisterhood type
I
of
call
thing.
Candy. I think I have a closer relationship with Candy, but I think just with the show, we all talk and communicate. Donta and Courtney stay a little closer to each other. They're a little further away from us. So I think with me, it's just been easier. Like we'll all talk about like one day after the studio, we got in the car. We just finished recording one of our shows. We were laughing and we just started having a good topic, and it was like, oh my God! So we just kind of like just started.
So it is a sisterhood thing.
Topic,
It's
jumping
definitely
topics
sisterhood.
and stuff like that.
And it is, we like what she was just saying. It's a sisterhood there. Yeah. We always can. You definitely get up with each other and talk, or if we want to go have drinks with each other, or it's a sisterhood there. Inside and outside.
Now, Kendra, I think I asked Candy this the last time she was here. Is there a hidden talent that the world don't know you could do? Now, we found out you can sing. We can't go by your voice and hear that. So
I know, right?
Your
Raspy.
voice was hoarse, I tell you can sing. But what is it that is a hidden talent that we might not know that you do?
What do I do? I don't know. I mean, I'm like a jack of all trades. I'm good at most things I do. Like most people don't know I like to read books. They see me and they think like, oh, I am so not that girl. Like I look like this. I am so not her. Like I enjoy basic things. I like to bake. People don't think like you cook. Yeah, me. I like to cook. I like to bake.
Now, can you cook now?
I can cook. But you know what? It's one of them things like, oh, I didn't know you're not a cook. Well, you didn't ask me. You just assumed, My mom is from Mississippi, so she make everything from scratch. She knows how to cook everything. If I don't know how to make it, my mom's name is Jenny Sue. It's a little southern, so I call Jenny Sue up.
Hey,
like,
Jenny Sue.
Hey, Ma.
I would ask my mom how to make it, and she would tell me how to make it. I love salmon croquettes. I love.
Oh, yes.
This is one of my favorites. I'm like, Mom, she
Hot
tell
sauce.
me how to mix them. I make my mix, and I know how to, cook. It's just.
What's your favorite dish?
Believe it or not, my favorite dish is meatloaf and mashed potatoes and green peas. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, is your meatloaf the meat bomb, or is it like, somebody going to be eating and looking like, oh?
No, it's good because it's the way my mom make it. She tell me how to make it. My mom old school, so it's a pinch of this, pinch of that. Now, wait, Mom, wait, look, I got to measure. Or I got to watch her. I got to stand there and watch her. So once I got all the ingredients, then I make it come out good. And once I get it, I got it.
What about you, Ken?
Ooh, I'm a foodie. I love all kinds of food,
Yeah.
Corey. I eat more than my husband.
And you don't look like
I
you
know,
do.
okay? And people don't believe me when I say that, but I eat more than him. Like, sometimes I'm even picking off of his plate when I'm done with mine. I love food, Corey.
So you one of the ladies to go get that 40-ounce,
Yes.
40-house steak.
Yes, like today I'm cooking some greens and cornbread, mac and cheese, and turkey necks today. I'm cooking. As soon as we're done here, I'm cooking today. I love food, Corey. I love all kinds of food. My favorite food is soul food, but I love food.
And that's weird because I am so soul food. My parents are from the South, so my dad wants nothing but soul food. Me and my brothers, they be like, y'all mom cooks soul food all the time. We be like, oh, we so tired of it because growing up, we didn't have that. My dad thought like tacos and, like more like lasagna. He thought he didn't want that. So when we come home, my mom making tacos. Or actually, to this day, my mom don't make tacos. My brother, my second oldest brother, Renell, he started making them.
Tacos, man.
And that's how we have them. She won't cook tacos. She doesn't do like lasagna. She do certain dishes. But like if she was like, oh, I'm making burgers and fries, we like, yes. Because we like to come home and it's like liver and rice. Oh, God.
Oh, Lord, liver and rice.
Just,
You know what?
But,
I never had liver before. I've never
liver
had
and rice. My dad likes lima beans, black eyed peas.
Yes, Dad.
Pinto beans. We be like, oh, man, Mom, you can't make nothing else. My dad, that's good wholesome food. Like, whatever. But to this
Now,
day,
see, I can eat that every day.
both of my brothers, even my younger brother, they're like, what y'all want to eat? We want everything but soul food.
Oh, see, I can eat that every day.
I mean, you guys are like,
every day.
I
your
love
mom
soul
cook.
food.
Yeah, I'll have my mom make him a plate. Like, Mom, make him a plate for me because I'm not making none of that.
So, guys, she can cook.
Yeah, I can't cook. Oh, I can cook. Yeah. I mean, I like to cook, and I mean, I like everything to be ready. Like when I come home from work, I'll leave my meat out in the morning, so that way when I come in, I just gotta season it. I don't have time to come in and gotta thaw it out. I got homework to do. I gotta, I'm multitask. I got stuff to do, so sometimes I don't always get to the kitchen.
Now, I want you guys to look in the future, okay? Take me to 5 years ahead, and I'm looking at Candy and I'm looking at Kendra. What do you guys see?
Well, for Candy, you see Candy being, by then this show would be international.
Okay.
It would be a syndicated talk show. I would have a perfume line out.
What's the name?
Candy.
Hello.
Candy. My husband and I will have kids by then. I'm not gonna say how many. I don't know. But by God's will, we have kids by then.
Bruh, man.
Oh no.
Bruh, man, fourth floor.
Okay.
But I see Chatty Catties like, being something the world would know about. And much respect to Oprah Winfrey, but something even larger.
All right.
Definitely heading in that direction.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything's a stepping stone. You have to get started somewhere, and I got a really great feeling and great vision about this show. And it didn't happen overnight. I had to put the work in to get it started, and I'm still getting a lot of things up and going. But so far, we're doing good. But I always want greatness. So until it's great, I'm not gonna stop.
Kendra?
In 5 years from now. So, of course, I share with Candy where I believe the show will definitely be on a completely different level. I think we'll have a platform to help out. I would love to be able to have maybe like a group or like girls, maybe like teenage girls, somewhere for them to go, maybe an outreach center or something like that, to teach them all the different things that I feel like sometimes they didn't have, to somebody to tell them that. My slogan is be perfectly imperfect, because we all are perfect. God made each one of us exactly the way he intended you to look, everything about you, but we all imperfect. And I think sometimes people don't like to show, I know even myself, no one likes to show their imperfections. So I want them to know that it's okay to have imperfections, because you might not be the best in that, but you might be a genius in something else. I plan to be married. I don't know if I'm gonna have more kids. I would like to have one more. But I definitely plan to be married and watching my business avenues, my body sculpting business up and running.
Body sculpting business?
Yeah, I want to open up a body sculpting somewhere where women can come and get various services, not necessarily under the knife, but sometimes I see women, they put together. I have an eye for fashion, so I can see something on a look on someone. They may not be able to capture that look. I want them to be able to come there, and I can help them critique that look, whether it's helping them find the right shade of hair color or makeup. If there's something they want to fix on themselves that's within my means or our means, then we can help them with it. A lot of times women don't know how to put things together. If I see somebody, I'm like, tie this like this, and they're like, oh my God, it looks so much better, right? Because I'm going to tell you if something looks right or help you to critique your look. People don't always want to do that because they're too afraid that if they help you, you're going to look better than them. I'm okay. I want us all to look good. So I want to, somewhere for like image, where they can come in. It's like sculpting or couture or whatever. And then I want to be able to reach out to our young girls. I think a lot of times I talk to my daughter and she tells me stories about her friends. And she's like, Mom, they don't have a mom that they can sit down and talk to or can explain things to them. My daughter asked me this. She's like, we were talking about boys and, people dealing with a bunch of boys. I said, if a girl want to go around and sleep with a bunch of boys, she's like, okay, well, what if it's me? I said, if this is what you choose to do, of course, that's not what I want you to do. You just got to be able to deal with the scrutiny that come with it. So if girls choose to act that way, nobody can tell you what you can and can't do. If you want to be a little, if they were, thought, whatever, you just got to be able to own it. So as long as you can own it, that's it. Because at the end of the day, I may not like it. It's my daughter, but I'm not the one that has to deal with the scrutiny that comes behind all those names and judgment that you get. And a lot of them can't deal with the judgment. So explain that to them.
Roland, what about engineer over there writing the whole paragraph? He copying down stuff.
So yeah, that's why I see ourselves. Of course, the show I think is a platform for us to open up doors for other opportunities, business ventures. I just see a lot.
Do you guys have any regrets?
In life or about the show?
Period.
I don't have any regrets. I think everything's a learning experience. You live and you learn. I don't have any.
I regret I didn't go to law school go to college right after high school and go to law school. I always wanted to be a lawyer. I knew when I was in third grade, I was going to be a lawyer or entertainer. And when I got to high school, I chased the entertainment field first. And then I had a baby.
What did you want to do in entertainment?
I wanted to be an actress, a singer, a dancer. I mean, I was pretty good at all of them. I know how to produce, But that's what I did, like the first probably, till I had my daughter. And then real life set in, like, real bills and real things. So I had to get a job. And then I went back to school, became a paralegal, got a BA. And I decided with everybody getting a bachelor's degree now, I needed to step it up. So I went back and got a master's degree.
Now, what about the book? God gives me insight, so don't be because sometimes
no, that's fine.
I say stuff that God showed me about people. They just back up like, whoa, because there's a powerful book that's on the horizon.
I got a lot that I'm trying to do. I'm learning not to overdo it. Like right now, juggling 2 schools, Chatty Catty, a job, my daughter. Sometimes I spread myself kind of thin. So I have to finish. So right now I'm trying to finish my master's, which will be done this year, hopefully by the summer. And then once I finish that, then I will try to finish up. I got to get my license to open up the business I want. So I'm trying to finish that up too. Once I do that, then I think I can focus on it. Right now I just feel like I got too much. So I can't find no man. I got no time. But yeah, so that's something that
she says, look at her, help her now. She
nah,
said, I got no time for no man.
Happen. Like with Chatty Catty, this is something that Candy's working on, and I know she grind hard for it. So with everything that I have going on, plus trying to, make sure, like, I'm like, Candy, if you need me to do anything, if I meet somebody I think would be interested, and I'll call Candy, hey, I met this person, whatever, because it's something I believe in too. So trying to juggle everything, my own personal goals and dreams, as well as the show, and being a mom, it can be a lot, but I do what I got to do.
No complaining?
No, I ain't gonna complain. I can't complain. I'm happy. I'm grateful. Like.
So what do you think about the radio show?
I think the radio show is great. I think it's a platform for people to hear our voices, to learn a little bit more about us. I think people that don't know us as far as the show, they're like, Chatty Catties, I don't know. We're not like anybody else show out here. We're not The Real. We're not The View.
We have our own style.
Right. We all done lived life and been through something. I think that's why we all jam so well. I am no saint. I'm not sitting here like, oh, I'm a Christian. I'm going to say, nah, I still battle with things. So, I think we're real. I'm just like everybody else. And I think that's what makes us all so unique. That I was that same girl that's sitting there watching this show like, So.
I love that, and I'm really impressed. And the reason why I'm so honored you guys on my show, not because I love Chatty Catties and I love you guys, and Candy's a great friend of mine, and her husband Geronimo, is that, and now I'm a great fan of yours, Kendra, but the reason why I say that is because a lot of times you really see the talent in people when it's spontaneous. I don't know. I have nothing prepared. Everything I ask is what the Holy Spirit gives me. And I said, well, let me throw some topics at them where they can just ask off their head. And you can see how bad. So when the network and people looking, they're like, these ladies can hold their own. Mm-hmm. I wish I could have met everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But you will.
Yes.
You will.
When we come back, that'll be a good one.
I'm definitely going to have you guys on my show, and you probably be hosting my show. But when I'm definitely have you guys on a live TV show.
That would be awesome.
Definitely, because, the world needs to see strong women, especially strong Afro-American women, who no matter what they faced, never gave up. And that's what's important. When you think about the name Chatty Catties, how would you not allow a man viewing the show to think that it's a male bashing show?
It's funny you say that, because I receive emails sometimes.
Like, what's up with the brothers?
Right.
And some men do think that we are male bashing. They would have to definitely check out our show to see that it's not a male. That's not, just for clarification, that's not what we do. We don't bash the males. We talk about everything. We don't, bash anybody on the show. That's not what the show is about. We basically sit and we discuss everyday real life events, and then we also have entertainment on the show. But we don't sit and say, "Oh, he did this," and we don't. That's not what this show is about. So we don't do no male bashing. That's not what it is. We talk about all kinds of things, from violence to weddings to just everything on the show. So it's never been a male bashing show.
And I think the good thing is that Candy and Courtney both are married. These are two women that have been with their husbands for some years, so they bring to the show what a man should be, what a man is like, because of their experience in their marriages. Me and Donta both are single, so we speak from single women.
And it balances out too.
And it helps. It definitely helps because, there's times I'll call Candy and I'm like, Candy, I just want to ask you a question. I'll ask her from a wife perspective. Am I doing too much of this or am I not doing too much of that? Because she's a wife. So she knows, because she's already in the position that I am trying to get to eventually. So I think with her and Courtney both having that, they give us a different perspective on things. So no, we don't bash men. If anything, they let us know that there's some good men out there. Mm-hmm. Keep looking. He out here. You see, I got my king.
We got some good brothers
promote,
out there.
and I love that about them because they let you know that good men, and I want to say black men because I think whatever you choose, your preference is whatever works for you. But there are good men out here. You just gotta wing through some of the toes and all that frog before you get your Prince Charming.
We support our men. We definitely support our men, our black men. Just men,
right.
You a good man. We definitely support our men that's out there. So, but no, male bashing is not what we do.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys, when you look for men, and speak about the process? Because too many people want the blessing that God has for them to be in full fruition and not go with the process. What I mean by is you might, and I'm going to use this as an analogy. A friend of mine who's married to another friend of mine, both of them friends, but he did 10 years in jail. Mm-hmm. He got out, found God in jail, he got out, and nobody would give him an opportunity. This lady gave him an opportunity, and the reason why I say this is because my friend is Caucasian. Female friend is Caucasian. Mm-hmm. Sister wouldn't give him a chance. You getting out of jail, you're a roughneck, and he really wanted to change his life. She gave him opportunity, and now he owns his own hardware store, property, and doing well. And the first thing a lot of ladies say, well, now that you made it, you had to go get a white woman. But in actual fact, he didn't. He found love, and she just happened to be Caucasian, but she found love with his own race when he gave him an opportunity, females. So the question is, when you choose a guy or you meet somebody as a potential person, is it all right to meet them in a process? And do we lose people because we judge them in the process instead of the finished product?
You can definitely lose them if you're judging them. You don't, they have that, what's that saying? Don't never judge a book by its cover. Right. I actually did that with my husband. Before me and him started dating, when I first laid eyes on him, I thought he was the typical baby mamas, a bunch of kids. He drank, he smoked. I did. I'm going to be honest. I judged him. I thought he was that kind of guy just from his demeanor. He was he got that thug type, demeanor. He had that thuggish language, and I assumed that, he had a lot of kids and all kinds of stuff. It was the total opposite. No kids, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, very goal-oriented, had a job. I was just like, that was a lesson learned for me. That you should never judge a person. You have to definitely get to know them first before you make a decision. And then for a woman's perspective, don't go looking for a man, let him find you. Because you can be looking in the wrong direction and find that wrong person. It can bite you in the behind. So definitely let him find you.
Roller crazy. Okay. Kendra, now let's see. She's over there charged.
No, I'm laughing. No, I agree with Candy. I don't think you should go out here looking for a guy or a woman. I think if you're available, you make yourself available as far as when you're out. If somebody, you run into somebody, if you're trying to meet, then you got to be approachable. You got to be, somebody that if someone who did have all the qualities you required, if they were to see you in a grocery store, gas station, or whatever, they would feel comfortable walking up to you without you, you ain't my type, or, you judging them. So I think you got to be approachable. I also think you got to know what you want. As a female that, I don't know, I guess I'm attractive, I think you meet a little bit of everything. So you got to be able
What
to
I'm talking about is the process. Like, can you see the potential in that person, why they person on the road? And the reason, let me use myself as an example and I'll give you a clearer analogy. There have been people that called that I would, today is a anniversary for me because 3 years ago, I got the date for me to have sleeve surgery. At that time, I was 476 pounds. I'm 239 pounds today. Wow. So I went from rerun to Denzel. So when you look at that, but it was somebody said I would have the surgery. I was in school, going to get a degree in pastoral ministry. And said I would be a minister, that I would do radio, that I would be around the world speaking, and things that God has allowed me to do today, and that I would do these things, but would not give me an opportunity because of the process. And a lot of times we have good men and women that's going through stuff that God is cultivating them. They're on a potter's wheel, but we look at them, we judge them in the process, saying, okay, he got too many I ain't gots, and not seeing that God is moving him. So then 10 years from now, he come back, he's the man that he said. You said, if you were that man, when I gave you, 10 years ago, I would have gave you the opportunity. If you that woman, I'd tell you, but they were. Because they was chosen before the foundation of work. They were just going through the cooking process. Like a cake is never good when it's being made. Everything you eat separately will taste nasty, but when you put it together, mix it together, you heat it up, and it's finished and it's done, it's the finished product. It tastes better than it was when it was cooking.
Right. I agree.
So my question is, why do so many people miss good people in the process, and why do they judge in the process?
I think because you are afraid that you're gonna have to carry that person. I've dated somebody that was in the process, and it gets heavy because you're trying to help them, and depending on what all they're doing and where they're at in that process, if they just started out, you might have to do this and commit to doing this for some years. And I think that's the part. It starts out like, oh, I can do it and I can help them, but then after a while, the weight of it all becomes a lot. And now you're second guessing it, like, I don't know if I want to do this, or I don't know if he's worth all of that, because you're basically dealing with them through this, as you said, process. And just depending on how far along they are in that process or where they're at, if they're just starting, it could be a lot. And then you look like, well, I'm trying to do all this and I got to do all this for them. Now you beginning to second guess if that person is worthy of all this time that they're going to require to get to the finish line. And guess what? They probably do. I know I probably missed an opportunity, like, I ain't going to do this, because not that I didn't believe in them, I just didn't want to wait to the process. I wanted it done. Like, well, I'm where I'm trying to be. I'm almost there. Why you can't? And it doesn't work that way. Like, that's not life. And then you look back like, missed my opportunity. So I think just people just not want to commit to, like, how long it may take. And you just never know. You just, maybe some disappointments. You're like, nah, I ain't gonna try it. I ain't gonna gamble again. No.
What do you think, Chatty? I mean, what's your name?
Really, Correy?
I'm sorry.
He's about to say Chatty. He's like, what do you think, Chatty? I mean,
Girl, you can't tag. You can't go on now. If you're gonna be with Chatty Catties, you gotta have this energy, man.
I am literally blown away, because, and people gotta get this. If half of Chatty Catty is this bad, just imagine with all of them here together. We might have to do a 4-hour show.
But I mean, you think of it from this way. Guys meet women who are maybe in school, working piece of a job. And a guy will, if he really like her and see good potential, and they'll work with them, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's a great thing. Guys tend to take on those roles, whereas I think for women, it's a little bit different. Maybe because it's frowned upon. Like, you got a guy and he's not quite where you need to be, and you helping them first and say, oh, she taking care of him and all of that. Maybe she's just helping him out along the process. I got brothers, so I think I tend to have like a little more sensitive side for certain things because I always think like if it was my brothers, I would want, his girl to hold him down until he got right or whatever. That's me. I've tried it too and I realized like, no, this ain't gonna work, or it set me back. So now it's like, no, I'm gonna need you to have yours because the comeback.
I think it should be 50-50.
Yeah.
You know.
But sometimes it can't be 50-50.
True. Sometimes it's not. It can be off balance sometimes. It should be 50-50, but sometimes it's not 50-50.
Right.
Because sometimes guys need to be rescued.
Yeah.
True.
And then
That's
people
very
change though. When you meet them, they going through something. They're so loving and understanding, and you mess around and get on, and all of a sudden they got this new attitude, and they walk around with their chest poked out and forgot who helped them get there. So I think that's a lot. I mean, I know women, we try to believe and support our guys. You do that for a man, and he gets where he needs to be, and he act new on you. Whatever, over time the relationship, fizzles, you meet somebody else, you're going to be like, the last time I helped, he did this and that to me. So it'll make you skeptical to do it again.
Now, can you ladies take a man out for the first date?
Nah, he needs to take me out.
Let's
I
get
think he
deep.
needs to take me out.
What
I don't
is
care.
it?
You got to
Can
pay.
you do it? Now, let's say, because now, I'm not just saying average man. Let's say a good man of God, good personality, a good person. Could you take him out?
Can you do it for me?
Can you take a man out for the first date? He's like, listen, I don't have it. I really want to go out with you. Can you pick up this date?
You know what? For me, I can, but what I know.
Yeah.
I'm old-fashioned. It's a first date.
He's supposed to.
He has to pay.
And you don't have to be fancy. You can
What
just
if he
go
can't?
We don't need to be on that date.
You need to get at me when you get there.
Get your life or something.
Yeah.
What needs to be on that date?
See, it's really unique you say that, because I always tell people that you never know how God's blessings going to come to you. See, a lot of reasons why that we're single is not always because we have not found good people. God has not sent them to us. We sometimes get carnal or cliche in our thinking.
Right.
I used to purposely, and it's just something I used to do, is I used to always, some people, just to see where they're at, spiritually, mentally, and physically, and just see where they're at and say, okay, listen, I would really like to go out with you, but I don't have it this week. Would you be okay with taking me out? And a lot of people be like, well, I don't think that a man should take out everything. I say, well, again, because see, there's an open and transparency in telling you, okay, I'm telling you that I don't have it.
Right.
But if he doesn't have it, why don't he just wait until he gets it and then ask her out?
But then how much is he worth?
Okay, so say he doesn't have it, and you say, well, right now my money's tight. I think it depends on the relationship and where you're at. If you know the person, you know what they're doing, you know that he's maybe like trying to build something, or he's in school, he's paying out of pocket, so he's on a really, really tight budget, and he really want to take you out. That's different, when you kind of know the background. But, you want to take me out, but you can't afford it, then I think you need to, if we could be friends, or, if you're running our paths cross again, maybe at a different time. But if you just don't have it, no, because if you don't have it, then if you can't afford to go out to eat, then what else can't you not afford?
And see, that's the thing. Because, see, we may look at somebody for their today status and not their tomorrow blessings. And, the reason why I say that is because I tell anybody, before you take my number, before you get involved with me, go out with me, pray on me first. Because what did God reveal you about me? Because some disappointments and brokenheartedness could be avoided if we would have just said, okay, God, is this the person? Show me. Open my eyes, because a lot of times we don't know. The reason why I say that was years ago I used to work with Superior Ambulance. And I was in the ambulance riding with the Brock Candy lady daughter. Mm-hmm. She was going to dialysis. And most people that ride with her to dialysis and stuff, they wouldn't say nothing to her. But me, I'm a chatty guy, like you guys. I love to talk. So I'm back there talking, laughing, joking with her. And she's like, you're not looking at the fact that I got holes and everything. You got you just talking to me like person to person. We having a conversation. You laughing and joking. You're sincerely talking to me. Do you know the end of that week she gave me a $5,000 check? It was like waiting on me when I get to work. They're like, "Well, this lady want to give?" Then she revealed who she was.
Right.
And a lot of times, like with the things that God has for me, I don't show everybody because my thing is that why should my financial status change my heart? Because would you want somebody with money that ain't gonna treat you good?
Well,
Right.
no.
Because there are people that I have never been in a relationship with. I've treated them better than a man has. But we get caught up in sometimes. This is my opinion, you know, man, that we get caught up in what somebody doesn't have because a date doesn't matter if this person ain't worth investing in.
Right.
See the kids,
Okay.
now,
see, I think
what you
again.
bring
Yes
up?
and no.
Come on, talk to me.
Only because I'm going to speak on my behalf.
Come on.
Me. If he doesn't have it, and then whatever the situation may be, I'm definitely just old school. If he's like trying to work his way through school and this, that, and the other, he's trying to save money, which is going to take a minute. You know what I'm saying? I was in school, and it's expensive. So if he doesn't have it and he really wants to take me out, I'm still not going to pay. He has to pay. That's me. He has to pay. And if he's still, if at some point when he gets it and he's still, interested and want to take me out, then yeah. But first date, he has to pay on the first date. Yeah. Then the second date, we can work out.
Why is it that a woman can do? Why is it not equally, or why is it not 50-50? Not saying that man shouldn't be, but he's supposed to be provided. That's what God says. But what I'm saying is a helpmate. If you really wants to be that person helpmate, why not help them? Why not? Why that we?
Well, I mean, you're asking me out. So what am
Right,
what am I helping
you
you with?
Go out with me,
you
so
asking
you want me to take you
I'm
out
a
and
good
pay?
person.
What am I helping you out with?
But I mean,
I don't know you're a good person.
Right.
I just met you. You want to
Exactly.
ask me out. So how do I know you're a good person?
Okay, now if you knew that person for some years and knew this was a good person, would that make a difference?
it'd probably help.
It would help a little bit.
I met a guy like that who wanted to go out, and he had just moved back here from California, and he was like, "I really want to take you out." He hadn't even been back here like 2 months, and he just didn't really have it. And I was like, he's like, I want to take you out, but I don't, I'm trying to find a job. I just moved back here. And I told him, I said, you know what? I appreciate the offer. I think you should, maybe wait till you get yourself together and then go from there. Because what if you go on a first date and you guys hit it off really well? You can't have a second date, so I got to pay for the second, the third, the fourth.
And to be honest with you, if he's not paying for that first date, sometimes it's gonna escalate to where you're paying a lot of the time.
What if it's not that?
I mean, it's a gamble. Or if that's the case, don't say let's go on a date. Let's just say, hey, why don't we hang out? And then that way, hanging out and a date is not really the same. Hanging out means I might meet you there. I might, I got my stuff, and if you good, you don't want nothing, you don't get anything. That way, nobody's, it's kind of like Dutch. You're just meeting up, hanging out for a minute, Dutch. Versus when you say a date, that means, we're going to meet up, dress, you can put your nice attire on. I'm going to put my stuff on. We're going to go out somewhere nice, sit down, eat. When you do that, then you should be prepared to pay.
Let me push the envelope down. My friend loved this man, and she proposed to him. Do you agree? Now, every woman friend that she had told her, no, baby, don't do it. Oh, young, listen. If that man love you, he's supposed to propose to you. Everybody told her, don't no woman propose to no man. Man wife find a good thing and everything. They've been together for years. She bought him a ring. She said, Corey, should I give it to him? Tell him I love him. You know what I told him? I said, yeah. Because what works for you may not work for nobody else.
Right, true.
And I said, if you're going to be happy, you can't worry about what people think. Now, do I feel that men should be the one to yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be. But sometimes you have to go outside the box of thinking. And she did, and they've been married 10 years. Now, the same people say she's a fool, but there are people that's single, walking around here with nobody.
And I don't think she's a fool.
No,
it just depends on the person. Like for me, I would prefer the man to propose.
Right. But would you?
Would I propose?
Yeah.
No. I would not propose. The
Nah.
man, I'm old school. He has to propose. I wouldn't propose. I've been with my husband since '06. And what's that saying Steve Harvey had in his movie Think Like a Man? What was it? Think Like a Man?
Think.
Right.
Act
So
like
he
a man,
had it
think
to
like
where
a-
it was an episode or scene in that movie where he was like, you have to acquire them to, or something like that.
Right.
You have to acquire them to want to propose, which is what I did. I'm not saying, ladies, you have to give ultimatums. However, from my, experience, let them
Sound
know
like an ultimatum to
you're-
me.
But I also think in a relationship
that you're not going to wait
right.
forever. You're
She
not
made
going
him do
to
that.
wait forever. And that's just what I did.
Right.
And I mean, I wouldn't, there's nothing wrong with what she did proposing to him. That's her business. That's what she chose to do. That's not what I would have done. If you've been with him this long and he still hasn't asked you for, it's time to move on.
And then again, he could have been if your husband. So maybe her husband was a procrastinator, and maybe she knew that. Like he may procrastinate on other real big decisions. He's made one of those people. He got to think to the point where he overthinks it. So maybe she knew that he wanted to get married, and they had talked about it. But him getting the ring and actually the follow through may not have been there. So she like, you know what, I'm gonna get the ring. And if they got married, that means he wanted to really get married. He just may have not gotten to the point where he was ready to pop the question. She just made it easier for him.
And there's nothing wrong with the
So,
woman
right.
proposing. That's just not what I
She
would
just
do.
knew what she wanted.
Right.
And she put it out there, and guess what? He married her. So he knew that she was right for him. Again, that goes to that part where that other person, your weakness is, so his weakness can be like, stagnant, procrastination, and she might be, like to see things through and get things done. She helped him make that decision. We gonna do this for, forever, or we not, so.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you deal with somebody that has had mental issues, somebody said, "Well, I'm better. I see the psychiatrist in some early years, but the voices don't talk to me no more. But I'm a good man, and I got everything you looking for. Will you get to know me?"
They have or had. They had men. I mean, if they had it, they don't have it no more. So I would get to know them. I mean,
Kendra over there. Listen, Kendra swim back in her chair like this.
If they had it and they don't anymore, I
Right.
need proof of that. I don't want to be with somebody
Want a
who's
diagnosis?
crazy or
Right.
I need proof that you are sane and that you're okay.
Now, we got 15 minutes left in the show, and this 2 hours went by fast, didn't it?
Right.
Yeah, it did.
I want to give you guys this 15 minutes to say what you want to say to people, the lasting impression that you want to leave on the audience. What is it that you want to talk about that's in your mind right now?
First, I want to thank all the fans, all you guys.
Thank
who's
everybody
been-
for
And
supporting, watching.
I'm a fan. I love this
been
show.
supporting
High
Chatty
five.
Catties.
She can always, and her, Kendra, all of them got a permanent spot on this show.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
All they got to do is call me.
Thank all the fans for supporting Chatty Catties since
Definitely.
day one. This is definitely a journey we're all taking together. It's a great journey, and we have so much more in store for you guys. So please keep watching, stay in tune with us. Reach out to us. We are here always on social media, Facebook, the whole nine. So again, we love you guys. Thank you so much. Let me see. What would be your last impression?
I don't know. I think they get an idea of just like who we are. We all are people.
Yeah.
Definitely when Donta and Courtney's on, they'll get a little more feel of the personalities.
Mm-hmm.
But we're, regular people. We all have dreams.
We're not
We all-
perfect at all.
Right. We all made mistakes. We all have had ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
We all reaching for something. We all got our own goals, personal goals that we're working on. But we all believe in Chatty Catties. So
Mm-hmm.
I think we're trying to connect with everybody, let them know that we're a voice, or we're trying to be a platform for y'all voices as well. Because everything we're talking about, I'm sure somebody out there can relate to it. And you can go through something. I know for me, you can go through something and still, win in the end. I think your story is a little bit different, Courtney and Donta. So I think we're basically letting them know like that we're a show that's here in Chicago that's trying to get picked up so we could talk about everyday issues that we face and see and go through.
Definitely.
Real
If you
life
have a
stuff.
voice or any special talent, you can always reach out to us if you want to be on the show. definitely contact us. Again, we are on Facebook.
I won't be on the show.
The whole nine. So we are it's a very, very powerful show, and we are very full powerful women in terms of we do have different personalities, but we just make it work. And like I said, we have everyday real life situations with us. We're not perfect by a long shot, but Chatty Catties is we got some things in store for you guys. So just keep watching. Don't stop watching.
Yes,
keep watching.
And I mean, I think that's the thing. Like, we're all still living real life. Like, I mean, I still got my life and things that I'm going through, and Candy had her life and her at-home life and everything. So we all are trying to work towards something, but we all like got real situations and real lives. So, we're just like everybody else. So I think that helps us connect with the audience. Like,
Now let me ask this last question, and this is the question, and I'm sure you guys gonna really go in on this one. Do your show denounce or tear down the stereotype of the angry black woman?
I'm gonna let you answer that one.
I mean, I would hope. I would hope it would.
Kendra be like,
Because I'd be like, you know what? I think too many. I think we have that stereotype of, black women, they angry, they crazy. I don't think we're angry. I don't think we're crazy. I think we call a spade. And I think sometimes men don't always want to honor or step up and admit their part in situations. When you have drained a woman of everything, you done hurt her and hurt her and hurt her. What do you expect her to be? She should be angry. She's trusted you and tried and worked with you, and you just kept beating her down. So I think sometimes stereotypes are put on people or put on women that don't really apply. I've been through something. I'm not angry. I'm happy. I'm good. Like, life is, you get out of that place where you've been hurt and you heal and you move forward. And I think we're here to share that with women. Like, you could have been through something, but guess what? You can still be winning. And I think that's what the show is about. For each one of us, like, we all got our stories, but look at us. We're happy. Candy speaks very highly of marriage. Courtney, me and Donta both, still searching for that mate, but we still searching after we done been through something. So that lets us know we're not angry and walking around hating men and men bashing. That's not going to get you what you want, but you take what you've been through and you go from there. So hopefully we're breaking down the barriers that we're not, there's not all black women, or all women are not angry black women, whatever. They just been through some stuff.
And we are stereotyped because we are full black women, for African American women. People automatically assume, they're gonna be fighting on the show. And bumping heads on the show and things like that. And we have shows when we sometimes don't always agree, which is fine. I don't want it to be where we always agree, because to me that's boring.
Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody got to disagree on something, which is why I chose the three that I chose, because we all have different personalities, and I know we don't always agree on the same thing. And controversy is sometimes hot. It's popular.
Right.
It draws people in.
Controversy.
So our show it's a positive show, but we do not always agree on everything. Sometimes we don't agree on a lot of things, which it's fine. It's okay.
Right.
But our show is definitely a positive platform to where people who want to get their artistry or brand out there, if you have a voice and you want to if you want to just be heard, our show is where it's to be. Where you should be.
Okay, now when is the next show and what is the topic?
So the next show is April 7th. We
7th,
actually have a special guest. I won't, announce who it is as of yet.
Yeah.
You will have to tune in to watch.
It ain't me.
But it's gonna be good.
We got to get you on there, though, Corey. You got to be on our show. So I'm not taking no for an answer.
I'll
You definitely
be
pulled
on
some
there.
good
You
questions.
got to be on
about
there,
it.
Corey. Definitely. We got to have you on there. But we do have a special guest that's going to be on the next show. So you got to tune in and watch to find out who it is.
All right, I definitely gonna tune in. And my thing is that, and I always say, the best shows I have no format. My format is not to have a format, because I'm gonna ask you what the Holy Spirit gives me to ask you, because I don't know who's watching and what needs to be spoke of. And I want to make people think. Like the day I preached today, and like I was telling the congregation, I'm not a hoop and a holler. I'm a thinker preacher. I want to make you think about scripture and think about how you apply it in your life. Therefore, so when I motivate and lift up people, I want to definitely think. And you guys did a tremendous job. You guys are super talented.
Thank
And you guys are the blueprint that a lot of young ladies are looking for. That's why I'm glad that you're mentoring, because women need to see that strong woman. They need to see that strong, fashionable woman. They need to see that because, we have to lift up our communities. Our communities in a state of emergency.
Definitely.
And it's violence, and that's because, the older generation and the younger generation has such a communication gap.
Yeah, definitely.
And you guys are in the middle, and I think you bridge that gap. And I'm very proud of
That's
you.
good.
Thank you.
We got time for one more question. When it's all said and done, and you know my question I'm about to ask you. You're in your older years. You're at a banquet honoring the achievements of your life. And the moderator asks you a question. It says, Kendra, in your lifetime, you tried to. Here's the sentence.
I try to be more humble. I've tried to be more patient, not just with other people, but with myself, which is something that I'm still learning to do, is to just be patient, because I'm humble, but I want to be more humble. You know what I mean? And I have the tendency to always want to rush things. It just sometimes let things flow, and just learn that everything will work itself out.
Kendra?
I think she said the same thing that was said. I'm learning to be more humble, probably more understanding and patient, because I be wanting what I want right then and there. So I'm learning patience, and hopefully when, I'm older, I can look back and say, over this time, I'm humble, I'm patient, I'm understanding that everybody's not me, don't think like me, and that overall that I was good to, anybody I came in contact with. I hope that I left. If I can't help you in a good way, I'd rather not deal with you. So hopefully I left a good impression on you, or was able to help you in some way, whether you told me or not, or whether I knew it or not. Hopefully that's the type of lasting impression I can be, to be humbling within myself and within the people that I know.
Now, is that your voice, or your voice is hoarse?
No, I'm raspy because, I went out. My brother's birthday was Friday, and I had a family event, so I'm not quite hoarse, but I'm like one octave away from being there. So I'm actually glad. I'm so glad I ain't completely hoarse, because I'm like, what? So, yeah.
Right, because you talking like deep. I feel it.
No, yeah, I'm like, so by Tuesday, I'll be back to my normal self. And it's just because dancing and old school music. They was playing all these old school songs last night, so I'm out there singing the blues with them. So yeah.
It's amazing. I had Shirley King on the show last week, B.B. King daughter, and amazing lady, growing up the blues, and she was telling me her testimony. What she went through, because you think because she was B.B. King daughter, right, that her testimony would be amazing, and she would love to be on you guys' show.
We would love to have her.
So I definitely make that connection, because she's keeping her father's legacy out there.
Mm-hmm. And that would be awesome.
You guys,
that B.B. King song we were doing last night. I don't even know.
The Thrill Is Gone.
They played The Thrill Is Gone, but it was I'm trying to think. It's crazy how when you hear a song so much as a kid, I heard the bass line and I knew what the song was. And it was, what is it? Have you ever?
Don't do it.
I'm trying to think of the word.
We ain't gonna do it.
No, I'm not gonna sing it. I'm trying to think of the words. It's an old school.
I love messing with Kendra. Kendra's so.
The words is, have you ever been in love with somebody that you just couldn't have? Have you? You know what song I'm talking about? Of course, my mom was probably at home like, yeah, it's so and so, but my dad was singing it to us. So yeah, it's an old school. I think it's B.B. King that sang the song, but yeah, when I heard the bass line, I was like, Mom, hear me a song, and she was just like, and then here goes my dad running over there like, you hear your song? So yeah.
Now we got about 2 minutes left. Would you want to say goodbye to somebody, and you want to say goodbye to the people?
Again, my scholars, I love you guys. I'm proud of all 7 of you. Congratulations on being smart and bright and making me laugh like you always do. Shout out to my husband, Geronimo Speaks. Shout out to Dante G and Courtney Wade, our other co-hosts, and just our fans once again, you guys. We thank you so much. This would not be possible at all if you guys didn't 100% support us and show us love. So again, thank you guys so much.
I want to say again, thanks to my daughter, Kamani, for being supportive because mommy's been busy all weekend and we haven't had a lot of time. My mom and dad, of course. I got to say what's up to my brother, Steven, my brother Nell in Atlanta. Yes, Baby K. What is that? Did you ever love a woman? There you go.
Thanks,
see? From last night. To my family, the Boyd family, the Marshalls, the Kennedys, the McKinleys. We have such a big family. I want to give support because all of them have been very supportive of Chatty Catty because, you know, Candy knows I went through some hating when I started promoting. Like, I lost some friendships. But it's okay. If you don't believe in what I'm believing or if you feel like the show is going to make me act different, then it's best we part ways now. So definitely, you know, Candy, Courtney, Donta, you know, these are my new sisters. My best friend, Tiffany, who supports me. They are those voices that when it be a lot from the naysayers, they keep me, you know, grounded. My auntie, Algie. I think that's it. I said my dad and family, Damon, Anthony, some other friends of mine.
And a special thank you to Mr. Correy Wright for
Yeah.
having us here again. Make us feel so welcome every time we're here. So thank you, Corey. We really appreciate you. And we got to have you on our show. Seriously.
You got me.
A year from now, we're going to be big and we'll be like, remember that Corey show?
Yeah.
I'll be right there with you. Like, hey, Chatty.
And no, don't DM me. I'm not looking right now at this moment. I'm not interested right now. I'm trying to get right with the Lord. So
blow up her phone. Blow it up. Her number is 588-2300.
Empire.
Well, people of God, again, thank you guys for turning in. Next Sunday, we won't have a show because we'll be observing Easter. So we want Easter Sunday. We will have a show Friday and Wednesday. So we will have it. But on Easter's show, we will not have it. So people of God, again, I want to thank my special guests, Miss Candy and Miss Kendra from Chatty Catties. Follow them, blow them up. They are amazing. They have tons of fans. We love them. And they're always welcome on Solution Show. And as always, get up and be the change that you require people to be.
Yes.
If change is to be made, you are to make it. You know, remember, you have to be your own rescue. Nobody owes you none. You owe yourself to change. God has commissioned you to do great, so go out and do great. I spoke about today when he told them to go get two donkeys for him to ride into Jerusalem on. And they said, if somebody, you have an altar, tell them that the king has need of it. The Lord has need of it. And the Lord had need of you. So make sure you go out there and make that change. Thank you for tuning in. I love you all. You have a great week. Remember, take God wherever you go. If you take God wherever you go, nothing can stop you. Love you guys. Peace.